Well, howdy everybody, and welcome to another edition of Stockshow Confidential. I'm Terry Jordan. This week, we're headed down to the Sherman-Denison area here in Texas for the Riley Roundup for multiple sclerosis. Now, we're going to interview Jim along with some of the judges, look at some really good cattle, and we'll hopefully raise some awareness and a little bit of money for multiple sclerosis. Follow along with us.
When was your heifer born?
May 2nd.
There you go. She's a May. Yep. Congratulations. I still like her. You got a nice heifer there, young lady.
Thank you.
I like the way you stick her. I think a real nice representation, and if you would, give these kids and their parents a big round of applause. That's a nice set of heifers to start the show.
Folks, when we talk about cattle shows across the country, obviously a lot of behind the scenes goes into putting one of these on. Along beside me is Hoyt Ivy from Ivy League Cattle Shows. Hoyt, tell me how the idea got started to start your own cattle shows.
Well, Terry, my wife and I and our youngest son traveled the state showing Hereford heifers. We got to thinking, how could we stay involved when he graduated from high school? And we had helped our local booster club with their livestock show. We wanted the kids in this area to have the opportunity to show and showing a good quality cattle show. But it is literally a family affair, and we try to make it so that the exhibitors, it's a family show, and they come and they stay. If you'll look out in the parking lot, there are a lot of living quarter trailers. We've got a deal working with Hampton Inns here in Sherman and Denison for a stock show raid. So people come and spend the weekend with us, and these trees, it's nice. The lake down here, it's just a beautiful setting out here.
Well, you know, for a lot of people that are our age, and whenever their kids get through showing, they're looking for a way to get out. You and I look for a way to get back in.
That is true. It's a way for us to give back. We enjoy it so much. It's a tradition that we don't want to die. The old West is new. It's still alive here, and the cattle production, people don't realize that it's not just the meat, it's not just the hides. There's a array of things that you can do in agriculture, and we just want to kind of give back to the kids and then give to the charities and have a good time and give the kids someplace to go and exhibit those animals.
How did you get involved with the Riley Roundup for MS?
Well, just out of the blue one day, I got a phone call from Jim Riley, and he explained to me what his situation was, that him having MS, and his vision was to have a cattle show.
I met them at one of their events here, and then we got together and had a meeting afterwards, and I didn't need to recreate a show. They know how to do the ringmen and set up and all of that, so that allowed me to work on sponsorship, PR, designing the buckles, the t-shirts, you know, the fun stuff.
Right. Well, you know, speaking of the buckles, that's one thing that sort of brought us here as well. When we met you and talked about MS, but Ron, my producer, his sister also suffers from multiple sclerosis. So he was glad to get involved, buy one of the buckles that you're going to give away here today.
So that's kind of the short story of how it was born, and we've met with him and sat down and talked about what he wanted, what he expected, and what we needed to make it work. And we've just worked for probably the last 5 or 6 months putting that together, and here we are today, December 2nd, for the inaugural event of the Riley Roundup for MS, and couldn't ask for a more beautiful December day, and a big turnout for calves and kids. It was 120 heifers, I believe, and 74 steers.
How long do you see Ivy League cattle shows continuing?
Well, Terry, that's a great question. If you'd asked me this morning, I'd have said probably this afternoon. But after we got everything lined out and got started, and you start hearing the people thank you for what you do and come up and tell you how much they enjoyed it, and those little kids come up and show you the buckle or the t-shirt that they won, and it just kind of does your heart good, and you get over that issue of dealing with all the parents and all the problems. And it's something that you want to continue to do. We're just going to keep it a family business and try to make it bigger and better with each year.
You know, that's the neat thing about our industry, because when you walk in these barns, you see, as yourself, 4 and 5 and 6 generations of families that are showing animals. It doesn't have to be show cattle, it can be goats or lambs or pigs, but it's just a long tradition with these families, and as long as we can continue to keep that tradition alive, you know, I think our show business is going to be okay.
Oh, I totally agree. That, and then you walk in and you look at the age range of the people in there. You've got kids that are in 4-H that are 8 years old, and then you've got kids that are starting, so they're getting their start at a young age, and then you'll look over in the stands and you'll see a grandmother or a grandfather or a great-grandmother or grandparent, and it's anywhere from 2 to 80 sitting in there with the cattle show. And like I said, and I can't emphasize this enough, it is a total family experience, and that's what we want it to be, and that's what we try to make it to be, and we kind of push that is from our concept is that we involve everybody in the family.
Well, thanks for joining us on Stock Show Confidential. You guys put on a great show.
And it's been our pleasure, and we're glad to have you, and hope you come back sometime and we get to visit again.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
Well, friends, be sure and check out StockShowConfidential.com, our Breeders' Corner. We have the top lamb, goat, pig, and cattle breeders listed there. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Madison Belcher. I'm 12 years old, and I just won Denver National Western Stock Show with the goat I bought from Schaefer Farms. For your next grand champion animal, do what I did. Go to StockShowConfidential.com, Breeders' Corner.
Advertise on StockShowConfidential.com, Breeders' Corner. It's where the winners shop, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Sign up for a listing on our Breeders' Corner, upload your logo, and be ready for your first customer like Madison. Visit the webpage, StockShowConfidential.com, or call me toll free 800-817-4164. We're here with mom and daughter, and they just come out of the show ring. I'm alongside of Stephanie and Meredith here. Meredith kind of got a smile on her face because she had a really good day today, huh?
Yes.
Tell me about what you did today. What kind of cows did you show?
I showed a key and a shorthorn.
And then how'd you do?
I got first with both of them.
That is way cool. Now, I understand that you haven't been doing this very long, so what made you decide that you wanted to show cattle?
Well, my dad has been doing it since he was young, and so I thought I just want to do it because he did it.
Yeah, that's way cool, you know it? And so, I'm so proud of you for the way I saw you in there today. And you come out, you always have a smile on your face, you're very aggressive when you go in there. Your mom says you're a little shy, but you're not shy when you're in the ring. Stephanie, tell me what this has done for your family and showing livestock and being around your kids, watching them develop and grow in the stock show.
Well, it's helped us tremendously with Meredith's confidence. She's very shy, a little insecure sometimes, and we have come a long way with her showing. When she goes into the showroom, she is a whole other child. She is not afraid to speak to the judge, look at him in the eye. But you see her outside the show ring to visit with someone, she might duck her head a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's helped her to overcome her insecurities of being afraid to speak to people or, to just anyone in general. She has come a long way in that.
Stephanie, if someone was watching our show and you could give a mom out there some advice about showing cattle or what it's done for your family, what would you tell a parent?
Well, I would tell them certainly get your children involved in 4-H and showing cattle or any animal in general. I think it's been wonderful for our family because it puts us together all the time. We know where our kids are and we know where they're going to be when they're teenagers too. They're going to be in the show ring on Saturdays all day and at home in bed on Saturday nights. So it's going to be able to teach them responsibility, but not only that, just family values, what it's like to work hard as a family together. And just for us to work together and to see that with our children grow and their confidence and just hopefully maybe scholarships for college one day.
Yeah.
Just everything in general about showing is perfect, wonderful.
Well, and that's one of the things about the livestock industry is these kids understand winning and losing, and they also understand the food chain, that these animals are not going to stay around forever. They're going to end up on a plate someplace, and so that is the way when we grow these young people up and they understand that, it makes them so well-rounded.
It does. I will tell you, we just had a recent experience. Meredith's first show calf had a baby, and we were going to sell her because, you know, we just had a lot of show calves this year born, and Meredith didn't want to sell her, and so her daddy made a deal with her that she has to be there in the barn every night with that heifer, taking care of her. And that baby is halter broke. She will walk up to anybody, especially Meredith. I had to chase that heifer down for about 30 minutes the other day to try to get a halter on her, and Meredith walked right in immediately and was able to get it. And she showed her daddy that she wanted that heifer and she wanted to keep her.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's important too, to teach them work ethic.
Well, Meredith, congratulations. Great job today out there, and I know you're going to continue to do well, all right? Thanks for joining us on Stock Show Confidential. Stock Show Confidential is brought to you by the following sponsors: Sullivan Show Supply and Stock Show University, Sure Champ, Showmaster Feeds, Justin Discount Boots and Cowboy Outfitters, EB Trailer, Luberson Livestock, and StockShowConfidential.com. Jim, when we talk about the Raleigh Roundup for MS, I've watched the trucks pull in here, the number of cattle that you guys received. For this your first year?
Yes, this was the first year.
Are you overwhelmed by the turnout that you received?
I am amazed by the support from everybody that has come out to the event. We had, we've reached all over the state. We've had people from West Texas, the Panhandle, Oklahoma, South Texas coming up. So yeah, I'm amazed and overwhelmed.
Tell me, whenever you approach the National MS Society, obviously there's a lot of other functions that they do, from bike races to fun runs and things like that. What was the reception to talk to them about a cattle show?
It was a total different concept for them, and so I had to kind of explain what I was doing and what I hoped to gain by reaching a new audience, where I have found by doing the Raleigh Roundup for MS that there are quite a few people here today that have approached me that their mother has it, or they have it, or their father had it, or their best friend at work has it. And it was something that wasn't really talked about in the livestock show community. And by me doing this, I think it's reached an awareness level that we have not seen before.
Well, you know, with you being a spokesperson for them, and for some of the folks that may have missed our first show, let's go back and visit a little bit about your history of how you were diagnosed with MS and what it did to you.
It first hit me when I was playing softball, and I didn't understand it. I had heat intolerance. My muscles were contracted into a state of what they call spasticity, where they're in a contracted state. Degrees of pain. I had some vision problems, and I got to where I had to quit working. I sold my house, and I was pretty much, when I hit 40, I was looking at going, what am I going to do for the next 30, 40 years of my life? And through livestock, my answer came. Every day I wake up with joy because I've got some cattle, because I've got the Raleigh Roundup for MS, because I'm going to be showing at Fort Worth again this year.
For people that might not understand, you know, multiple sclerosis is kind of a different disease than a lot of other diseases out there, because they really don't know what causes it, and there's really not a cure for it.
That's correct. It can just come on at any time. It's more common in women, and women are diagnosed usually at an earlier age. Men, they find, are diagnosed at an older age, middle-aged, sometimes older, and it can progress much more quickly. You fall out of a tree, you break your arm, you know, it's pretty obvious. With MS, there is no deciding factor of what causes it. It would be like your wiring in your house. If you get rats in your house and they eat all the sheaths off of all the wiring, what happens? Things short out, fires can start, things don't work, and you're sitting there, why doesn't this switch, why doesn't this come on, why doesn't this work like it's supposed to? It's because of the misfiring of those neurons in your nerves. And again, it can affect anything that is controlled by nerves.
Let's talk about, when we talk about the Riley Roundup for MS, the facility that y'all chose here. Why did you choose this facility, and you kind of partnered with someone else to help do the cattle show?
This facility was chose because I had been here for many events, both the events that the Ivies, who I've partnered with on this event, have hosted, as well as a state shorthorn junior show was held here. It's a nice location, as you can see. It's a beautiful park. They have a wonderful facility in the barn. There's a lot of space for the people to, whether they want to stall in the barns or park under the trees, so that we can accommodate a lot of people.
Where do you see this going next year? How big's this thing? How big can it get?
I hope that we have the sponsorship, that we're able to, instead of this year we're giving breed awards, but we're giving buckles for division. We are giving banners and then an overall grand trophy. Next year I'd like to give buckles for every breed champion in both rings, which again is something you don't see in a lot of these more weekend buckle or jackpot shows.
You want to talk about one that's got some bone but still remains kind of feminine in her makeup. This heifer certainly has it. Well, you're going to win this. That's a nice heifer though. Thank you. She's got a lot to her and structure's good. And I like that. So you got her in good condition.
That's one of the things that is a little bit different about this. You've got two rings going on in there simultaneously. You brought in two judges. So if you walk into that, you're actually seeing two cattle shows at one time.
That is true, and we tried to do that so that we could keep things moving and keep things interesting. We wanted to have two shows because then we've got double the awards. We are a sanctioned show in the state of Texas, so that also gives you twice the points because you get to show to two judges.
This has been a great show of what we've seen so far. I know that there's a lot more to come yet, and man, I wish you the best of luck. You know, I know next year it's going to get bigger and better as you guys continue to grow the Riley Roundup for multiple sclerosis. Thanks for joining us on Stockshow Confidential.
Thank you, appreciate you being here, and like I said, you're part of the family. You're part of the reason we're here today.
Glad to be part of it.
Thank you.
You know, raising and competing show animals takes more than good nutrition. It takes determination, dedication, and hard work, traits that are hallmarks to leaders. And that's why Showmaster is proud to feed the potential of the youth leaders through their educational programs, award programs, and support of the 4-H and FFA. Showmaster Feed continues to build the legacy of building champions through their innovative feed programs and nutritional research. Showmaster Feeds. Feed their potential.
All of our breed champions are lined up here head to tail out here in the ring, and certainly a very impressive lineup out here as you look at each one of our breed champions out here. If you could, give these exhibitors in Ring B on our American side a round of applause, if you would, please. Congratulations, young lady. You'll win.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Doug Satry. I'm from Montague, Texas, and I was a judge today for the Riley Roundup for MS show here in Sherman, Texas. It's been an honor and a pleasure for me that Jim chose me to judge this show today. The quality of the show was extremely deep. We chose 3 divisions of heifers: Americans, British, and exotics. We chose a top 5 in each division, and at the end of the show we chose a top 5 Supreme, Champion, Reserve, and 3, 4, and 5. And the heifer I chose for the overall Supreme female was the Angus heifer. And the reason I chose her was for the main reasons was this. I'm a purebred registered breeder myself, and the main reason was from a structure standpoint, feet and legs, this heifer is exceptionally good from a soundness and structure standpoint. You like her femininity up in her front 1/3, the way her head and her neck and shoulder forerib all fit together. She has excellent depth of rib, tremendous turn to top for a young female at this stage of the game. She's got tremendous base width. You get behind her, she's long and level from hooks to pins. She's got a wide pin setting. She's got muscle shape and design in through the center and lower parts of her quarter. And then she's also really good when she gets on move. Takes a long stride. She reaches out with that front leg, grabs that ground, pulls herself forward, pushes off of that back leg, fills that hole with that back leg. Just an excellent female today. She was our supreme champion.
Well, I'm with a real pretty young lady here who's got a great big smile on her face, and there's a reason for that. This is Callie. You just won the grand champion here at the Jim Riley MS Roundup. How's it feel?
It feels great. It's just been a great experience, and I just love showing.
Tell me about this heifer that you had. Where did she come from, and how'd you end up with her?
She came from a breeder in Texas, and we raised her from her being a May, so we raised her as she's grown up. Well, she has been a very big trouble sometimes, but I raise them and I spoil them, which is not really good, but to me they're like my babies, and I just love them. And
are you going to keep this heifer and try to raise a herd of your own?
yes, sir. I just like cattle are my everything. I don't like every day I come home from school. The one thing I always want to do is I'd rather be out in the barn than I would in school or anything. I just love my cattle in my barn.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, jump in here real quick. Tell me about this young lady, of how she has matured as a young lady and what's helped her as far as showing cattle.
Well, she had a big brother who introduced her to this, so she's looked up to him and learned a lot from him.
How did it feel today when they said she is the one?
I was just glad. We've been reserved a lot. It's finally nice to get over the top.
Sometimes the bridesmaids, it's nice to be a bride every once in a while. Well, congratulations, Dad. We're so proud of her. She's a beautiful young lady. I know she's going to go far and do very well. We'll see you at one of the other majors down the road, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, folks, as we close out another edition of Stock Show Confidential from the Riley Roundup for Multiple Sclerosis, as always, thanks for joining us once again. We'll see you again next week, and until then, I'm Terry Jordan saying, here's hoping that we'll see you in the winner's circle. Closed captioning brought to you by Stand Alone Feed.